Colby Lanham hit me up on Twitter and asked how much can Clemson's new offense make up for its inconsistent play at wide receiver. Also mentioned Antonio Williams being an absolute program guy. But the question I think that we're getting here is, can Clemson just be more explosive offensively in the pass game? It's a fair concern to have. Let's unpack it a little bit more. Make sure you're following me on Twitter, though, at JD Piquel, because we're answering questions like this, and I want to hear from y'all. And there's a lot of optimism around Clemson, South Carolina, that we need to unpack together. You look at what Clemson did a season ago offensively under Brandon Streeter. They averaged 6.8 yards a pass. Good for 86th in the country. All right, now you look at what TCU did under Garrett Riley and the system he's bringing to Clemson, South Carolina, 8.3 yards a pass. Good for 18th in the country. So they were more explosive downfield, and so Colby's asking, man, hey, can we get some of that? Can we get what they had over in Fort Worth down here in Clemson, South Carolina? Fair question. And what I would say is the offensive philosophy that Garrett Rileys bringing to Clemson, South Carolina could be a workaround for maybe some of the personnel that you don't necessarily have in-house right now at Clemson. Because Clemson has Antonio Williams, who, like I said, absolute dude, and proved it last year as a freshman, was kind of that burner for you. But outside of that, do you have anybody that's really a take the top off the defense kind of guy, a true deep threat kind of guy? I think Colby is saying he has his own reservations. I would agree. There's really one flavor of receiver at Clemson right now outside of Antonio Williams, and that is big body, go up and get the jump ball kind of guy. Maybe not making those safeties lose a whole lot of sleep at night because they're going to have to turn around and catch the 4-2 guy. But here's what I'm saying. The philosophy for me, for Garrett Riley, could be the workaround for what you don't have personnel. Here's what he does. He utilizes tempo and running the ball to what I would say is manufacture explosive plays. Okay? I don't have the 4-2 guy, so I got the 4-5 guy. Can I still win deep? Here's how you do it. One, with tempo, like I just said. How do you do that? The defense gets tired, and when you're tired, you, one, just don't have as much focus mentally to lock into what you need to do assignment-wise, so you're less assignment sound. And two, we're going so fast, you may not be able to line up in time. So as a whole, guys are just out of position. More potential for busted coverages downfield. Okay, so that's one way. We got explosive plays. The second is they're going to run the football a whole lot at Clemson this coming year. TCU ran the ball 54% of the time last year under Garrett Riley. Expect Clemson to be in that sort of vein again this coming season. Now, why is that important? How does that manufacture explosives? We talk about it a lot. But when you run the football consistently at those safeties, trying to come downhill and make a tackle time and time again, if I was at 8 yards and I got to tackle Will Shipley 5 times in a row, and I've had to run up every single time, I might start to cheat a little bit. I might be a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage than I was. I was at 8 yards before. Guess what? I'm at like 7. I'm at 6.5 now. That's all you need. It's a little more green grass behind the safeties, and when they want to be trigger happy, that's when the play action comes. That's when there's a lot more real estate to throw the football to, and that's when good things happen, explosive plays in the pass game for Clemson. So it's the workaround. I used to need the 4-2 guy to just pop the top on the defense, but now with those safeties coming down, with the defense more out of position, they're more on their heels with our tempo and us running the football, now I have a chance to take advantage of you in the pass game. Now a 4-5 guy, if he's technical with how he runs his route, if he's locked in with what we're doing schematically, a 4-5 guy can be the guy who goes and makes a big-time play for us. So that's the workaround, if you will, for Clemson. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We talk college football every single day here, so thank you for allowing us to do that. Also, make sure you're following me on Twitter as well as on Instagram at JD Piquel. So here's what I would say. 2 things can be true for Clemson in this department with explosive plays and wide receiver play. You can be substantially better than you were a season ago, which I believe will be the case with Cade Klubnik at quarterback, with Garrett Riley as your OC, manufacturing these explosives. You can also, to the same token, not be explosive enough to get to where you want to go. Does that make sense? Because when I talk about manufacturing explosive plays, you still don't have that 4-2, 4-3 guy. Or you don't have a ton of them, if you will. And so the way that I'm thinking about this is when you manufacture explosive plays, it's kind of like having the knockoff version of something. And having the knockoff version of something is not a bad thing. I myself own many a knockoff. But the knockoff is only good enough until you need the real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get a knockoff engagement ring and have it be fake gold, and it will look the part. It'll be good enough for maybe the proposal. But once you take that thing to get it valued, or you take it to get resized, or there's some point in time where you need this ring to be real, it's not going to hold up. And so for Clemson, they can probably get through the majority of the ACC with the knockoff explosives, manufacturing the defense, have them rocking and rolling. We're playing chess. Y'all are playing checkers. What's up? But what happens when you get to play a team like Georgia in the college football playoff? When the personnel strictly is just going to be more disciplined, it's going to be better. And when you expect national titles, you got to get through the Georgias, you got to get through the Alabamas. At that point, I would say, hey, y'all, I don't know if we're manufacturing explosives in this game. At this point, we might need that true deep threat to make some plays for us. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. That's just my perception of what's possible for Clemson. And I would also say this, just because I haven't seen it with my own two eyes outside of Antonio Williams doesn't mean it's not in-house at Clemson. Doesn't mean they don't have some guys that can go make plays for them. I mean, Dabo Swinney is excited about a lot of those guys in that wide receiver room. So I'm not saying this is a absolute, but I am saying this is what I have seen in terms of a proven commodity from Clemson. And the pressure is starting to mount around Clemson. And they've missed the college football playoff the last 2 years. And a lot of it for us is a what have you done for me lately with Clemson? Because they made the college football playoff what felt like every year a couple of years ago, and now they've missed it the last 2 years, and we're saying, man, is Clemson falling off? What's going on with Clemson? It's a bit ridiculous. They just won the ACC. They won double-digit games a year before that. Like, Clemson's not falling off, but with the bar they've set for themselves in-house, they've missed it the last 2 years. Okay, they've become accustomed to success, and that's a good thing. You never want to become surprised when you succeed. When good things happen at Clemson, you never want to be like, wow, that's amazing. For the first time in forever, that's happened. No, you expect to succeed. That's internal. It's also external now at Clemson. Kind of the way it works. So my question is, with the missed expectations of the college football playoff the last 2 years for Clemson, do they tinker at all with what they have internally? And I've asked this question the majority of the offseason. Does Dabo Swinney maybe look at the portal a little bit more closely post-spring? Do they maybe take a chance on a wide receiver that hadn't been at Clemson before and maybe has some speed, and you say, hey, we don't usually go to the portal, but you can help us. You can get us over the hump in that pass game. You can make us more explosive. Is that a conversation you have? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I am saying when you have results that you're not happy with, you got to do something different. And Clemson historically does not go to the portal. But you're unhappy with your results, but you refuse to go to the portal. What are we doing here? What's going on? Can we, I don't want to say bend the rules. You're not bending on what your standard is, but I do think there's something to be said for we can protect our culture and still get good players from the portal. That's how I believe it. But Dabo Swinney says Clemson is better than they have ever been this spring. And if Dabo Swinney says they're in a good spot to go, all right, he knows his ball club. But I'm excited to watch this unfold. Colby, it's a great question. Clemson will be more explosive. How much more remains to be seen. So get excited for more explosive plays and keep an eye on what Clemson does post-spring practice. I'd be a little surprised if they went to the portal, but anything can happen. Make sure you're locked in here. Nick Brake Lifting Heavy. This is your show, man. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.